All right, we've made it through some of the tougher stuff in this section. I'm looking at you, class methods. That was a toughie. And this quick video should be a nice breath of fresh air. So it's all about a little magical method, a dunder method, just like init, called repr. I think it stands for either, well, I know it stands for either represent or representation, or potentially representative, but I think it's representation. What it does is it allows us to define a representation of an instance, so in this case human, that when we print or turn a human into a string, we can control what it looks like. So currently, in our user class, I'm working in a new file called repr.py. If I just print Tom, which is a user, we've already seen this before, we get this hideous looking thing. So with repr, we can return a string, and that is what will actually be printed out. So we can define it up top with all the other dunder methods like init, _repr. It's an instance method. So we'll use self. And for a user, we could just return something simple like first name. So self.first, we need those brackets. And then maybe an age, just to do self.age, just like that. It doesn't really matter. But now this is important. When I print a user, we get Tom is 89, which maybe is not the best representation, but hopefully you can see how this can be useful. It doesn't really unlock anything new, but it just makes development easier because we can come up with custom representations that when we print something, that it also, when we turn something to a string, which print is doing behind the scenes, let's say I make a new user called J equals user, and let's not use from string, the class method. Let's do user named Judy Steele. That's my mom, and I don't want to say her age, she'll get upset. Let's say she's 18. Now, if I print J, we'll get the same thing, but if I did J equals the string version of J, and now I print J, we'll also get the same thing. And this just shows that when we print something, repr is called, and when we turn something into a string, repr is called behind the scenes as well. So this repr method is not only something we define on our own. For example, take a list or a dictionary. Those things, when we get them printed out, we get this little representation of them. But remember, they're actually instances of a class, of the list class or the dictionary class. And by default, they would look something like this. But because of this little bit of magic, Python calls, it's going to look for a way of turning it into a readable format first, and then printing that out. Okay, so just so you know, this is something you can do. _repr. There we are.